Hello, my name is Joanna Morales. In this presentation, I will explain the initiative and referendum process of Arizona. Compare the two, discuss their advantages and disadvantages, and describe how they support direct democracy under the Arizona Constitution. The initiative and referendum are foundational components of direct democracy in Arizona. This process were heavily influenced by the progressive reform movement in the early 20th century, which sought to increase citizen participation in government and reduce political corruption. The Arizona Constitution explicitly reserves these powers to the people, reflecting the farmers' commitment to popular sovereignty. Let's define initiative. An initiative is a process that allows citizens to propose new legislative or constitutional amendments and place those proposed directly on the ballot for voters to approve. There are two types of initiative in Arizona: statutory initiative, which creates and amend state laws, and constitutional initiative, which amend the state constitution. This process allows voters to bypass the legislative when they believe lawmakers are not addressing important public concerns. A referendum is a process that allows citizens to approve or reject a law that has already been passed by the Arizona legislature. Though the referendum, voters can challenge the legislative decision and ensure the controversial laws reflect the will of the people. The referendum acts as a direct check of legislative authority. How initiatives are created. The initiative process: when a citizen or advocacy group drafts a proposed law or constitutional amendment and files it with the Arizona Secretary of State, supporters must then gather signatures from registered voters. For statutory initiative, signatures must equal at least 10% of the voters cast in the most recent election. For constitutional amendments, 15% is required. Once signatures are collected, election officials verify the validity of enough valid signatures are confirmed. The initiative is placed on the ballot during the next general election. A majority vote determines whether the measure becomes law. This process allows citizens to act as lawmakers themselves, reinforcing democratic participation. How referendums are created. The referendum process begins after legislators pass a bill. Citizens who oppose the law may file a referendum petition within 90 days of the end of the legislative session. Petitioners must gather signatures equal to at least 5% of the voters cast in the most recent elections. If sufficient valid signatures are verified, the law is suspended and is placed on a ballot for voters to approve or reject. If voters reject the law, it does not take effect. This process ensures legislators' accountability and protects against unpopular, controversial laws. Comparison of initiative and referendum. Both initiative and referendum are tools of direct democracy that requires petition signatures, ballot placed on the required petition signatures, ballot placement, and voters' approval. Both empower citizens to participate directly in lawmaking. However, they differ in purpose and function. An initiative purpose propose a new law or constitutional amendment, while a referendum changes an existing law passed by the legislature. Initiatives generally require more signatures than referendums. Additionally, referendums must be filed within a time limit after legislative action, whereas initiatives can propose independent or legislative decisions. Let's talk about the pros and cons. The initiative process promotes civic engagement and allows citizens to address issues when legislators fail to act. It can reflect public priorities more directly than representative governments alone. However, initiative can be influenced by well known interest groups, and complex policies may be reduced to simplified ballot language that voters may not fully understand. The referendum serves as an important check on legislative power and ensures controversial laws reflect public approval. It strengthens accountability with representative government. On the other hand, referendums can delay implementation of laws and may contribute to policy uncertainty. Support of direct democracy. The initiative of referendum reflect the progressive era belief that government authority originates with the people. The Arizona Constitution explicitly reserved legislative authority to voters, demonstrating a strong commitment to direct democracy. By allowing citizens to create, amend, or reject laws, Arizona maintains a system of political power ultimately rests with the electorate. The process ensures that representatives' government remains responsive to the will of the people. In conclusion, the initiative and referendum of cert are central to Arizona's constitutional framework and democrat identity. They allow citizens to actively participate in governance beyond voting representatives. Although both processes have advantages and limitations, they reinforce principle of popular sovereignty and strengthen democratic accountability in the state of Arizona. Thank you for watching my presentation.